Hey guys, it's Matt at Fastmetrics bringing you a video on user management in the metric phone admin interface. This video is going to cover how to add, modify, and delete users. So let's get to it. After you log into the metric phone web interface, go ahead and click on the Users tab and click on Add User. I'm going to enter a name here. And let's give it an extension of 124. This does have to be unique. Department can be blank, email address can be blank, basic user is going to be fine. Enable voicemail. If you don't want voicemail for that user, just uncheck it. And add phone extension, you will generally want this checked. That's so you can attach a hardware phone to them later on. And down here we'll set the voicemail password and click Add User. So now we see our new user right here, extension 124. Let's go take a look at the options that we can modify. So we can update the name here, add them to a department, adjust the time zone, set an email address which is used for voicemail to email, announce them in an audio directory. So if your company has a dial by name directory in an auto attendant, they can be included in this by default. If you don't want them to be reachable through that directory, just unclick that and click Save on the bottom. List in directory is used for the contact information in the portal, so usually you're going to leave that checked. Area code you can modify, so if you happen to be in a different area code than the default for your company, you can go ahead and change it. Caller ID and 911 are both managed by Fastmetrics. If you happen to see that 911 caller ID is blank or incorrect, please contact our support and we'll get that fixed for you. And finally, if you want to change the voicemail password, go ahead and do it down here. The next tab that we're going to look at is the Answering Rules tab. We have some videos out on how to do different rules for this, so I'm not going to go too in depth on it, so check those videos out. The main things here are this timer, which is how much time it's going to ring your phone until it goes to voicemail. Usually 20 to 25 seconds is a good default for that. If we look at the default rule, we'll see it's just set to ring the user's extension. This will be the primary extension that they have. Let's check out the voicemail. Some different options, so if you want to hear the caller ID read to you or the time that the call came in when you're listening to voicemail, you can check these. If you have a lot of voicemails and you don't feel like going through all them and you just want to delete them all, you can hit the clear messages button here. The clear data we're going to come back to in a bit. You can manage your voicemail greetings here. If you have a voicemail greeting, you can click play and it's going to play whichever one is active. Alternatively, you can manage your voicemail greetings. So if you have a WAV file or an MP3, you can actually go ahead and upload it, hitting browse and selecting it. You can also record a greeting via the system. So this number in here can be an extension or a phone number. When you hit call, it's going to call that number, prompt you to record a greeting, and then automatically upload it for you. So that's how that works. And we have a similar thing for the recorded name. So if you click on Manage here, we can upload a file or we can record it by having it call us. And the final voicemail option down here is email notification. There are 3 ways that we can deliver voicemail to email to you. We can do it as a hyperlink, or 4 ways. A hyperlink, a brief hyperlink, an attachment, or a brief attachment. So the hyperlinks here, you're going to get an email that has a link back to a WAV file that actually has the voicemail message. With the attachment, we're going to send that WAV file directly on that email. So usually people would do the send with attachment. The reason why there are 3 options here is if we send you an email and you listen to it on your mobile device, it's not going to mark it as read when on your phone. So even though you've listened to it, it may already, or it may still show up as new on your device, which will mean it has a little indicator light on and a message on your phone, which is going to get kind of annoying. So your option is to either move it directly to save, which will turn off all those indicators, or you can delete it outright. So when you delete it, that pretty much means that you're just going to be archiving your voicemail in your email box. And the last tab we have here is the Phones tab. So this is the different devices that you can set up on this user. By default, it'll set up the basic or the primary device here, 124, the extension name. If you wanted to add a phone, like a soft phone for your iPhone or your Android device, you can click Add. Our convention is to use the extension plus a letter. So if you want to just put A or M for mobile, whatever you want there, and you just click Add. It does have to be unique, as you saw there. So one caveat to this is if you do start adding other devices, you need to update your answering rules to ring them accordingly. So by default, the answering rule is just going to ring this first one. If we want to ring all of the phones that we add here, let's go back here, edit our default rule, and instead of ring just the user's extension, which is going to ring 124, we want to click Simultaneous Ring, include the user's extension, which is 124, and ring all the user's phones. So this will be 124A, B, C, D, E. So every single phone that's attached to this user will ring with this setup. So we just click Save, and now you're ready to go. The final thing we want to do for adding a user is actually attaching a hardware phone to this user. To do this, you can do it on the Phones tab, but it's usually better to do so in the inventory. So we're going to come to Inventory and then Phone Hardware. So I've got one phone here, and it's set to extension 100. We're going to go ahead and edit it. Come in here and edit the line 1 and add our new extension here. So you see we see the two devices that we set up previously. We're going to select the primary one, click Save, and now this phone is attached to this extension. And so if I go over to that phone and reboot it, it's going to grab a new configuration with this extension on it and be ready to go. So that's how you add and or modify a user. There are two more use cases. You may want to reset the phone. So if an employee leaves and you want to mark their phone as open and you want to get rid of all the old stuff, so all the voicemail greetings and stuff like that. And then finally, if you want to delete somebody just outright and you don't need that extension anymore. So that first use case, we're going to come in here to New User. And typically you would mark it open. Remove any email addresses, reset the password if you'd like, and hit Save. Then we would come to the Voicemail tab and the clear data link here. So what this does is it clears out all the voicemails that are in there, as well as any greetings and any recorded name. So when you do that, you're essentially reverting this back to a basic user with no greeting information on it at all. So now it is a fresh, clean user as if that person never existed. If we come back to users, we'll see it's open and it's ready for use. Finally, if you don't need that extension anymore, you can go ahead and delete it completely. And to do that, you just hover over this and click the red X and click Yes. And that's all there is to it. That's user management in the metricPHONE admin portal.